Good morning, Shabbat Shalom to all. Good morning, Shabbat Shalom. We are continuing today our study in the prophecy of Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 60, and we're talking about the world order of the Messiah, the world order of the Messiah. Let us begin today's study in Isaiah, but not at 60 yet, but something we've already read in Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14. Something we've already studied in this study, and we do have a study on it already in the Isaiah series, the Isaiah 2020 series. But Isaiah chapter 14, and we're looking at the portion of chapter 14 that talks about our enemy, Asatan. Talks about his fall, talks about his thoughts. His thoughts. You see, brothers and sisters, the Bible tells us that the Most High not only sees what we do, he sees everything we do. Matter of fact, let's take a look first before we go there, just on that vein in 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 4. 1 Corinthians chapter 4. And let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 4 of verse 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 5. Very rarely do I just read one verse, but this is one of those situations that's more of an exception rather than the rule. So let's take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 5. Therefore, judge nothing before the time, until the Master come, who both will bring to light the hidden things of darkness and will make manifest the counsels of the hearts. And then shall every man have praise of Yah. So the judgment, shalom, shalom. The judgment, in the judgment, the Most High is going to not only reveal everything a person did, right? Not only just that, but he's going to make manifest all the hidden things, all the mysteries that we didn't understand. He's going to make manifest, going to bring open. And not only that, all the counsels, all the thoughts, the motives of the hearts be made manifest. See? So, because a lot of times we can get fooled, can't we? Because we don't know what's in a person's heart. We can only judge by what they do, right? But we don't understand all what's in a person's heart. Well, the Most High does. And our greatest enemy is Asatan. He's the enemy of enemies. All physical enemies we have are our enemies based on the backing of Asatan. Okay? Oh, also, before I continue, Sister Josie, I forgot. I did see your email. I haven't even had a chance to read it yet. I will look at it today. I just want to let you know that I'm not ignoring you. I didn't even have a chance to look at it. I saw that you sent me an email, but I didn't have a chance to look at it. So I will look at it today. What was that? Okay, so in Isaiah chapter 14, let us begin Isaiah chapter 14. And I'm going to begin at verse 12 and go down to verse 15. Isaiah chapter 14, from verse 12 to verse 15. Notice what it said. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Okay. Now, this is the important part right here. The start of verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart. That's the important part. See, these are things that he thought. These were his motives. This is the reason whatever he's doing is why he's doing it. It's important to understand these are his thoughts because he never expressed them in word. So when he's dealing with other angels that ended up falling with him, or when he's dealing with Eve, or when he's dealing with you and I, he never expresses this. Okay? It's in his heart. The Most High is revealing to us what's in the heart of our enemy, our greatest enemy. All right, see, okay? This is not something he would like to be revealed. But through his Hebrew prophet, in this case, Yeshaya, he reveals to us what our enemy is thinking. You see, brothers and sisters, just think about that for a second. If you know a person is your enemy, they hate you, they want to hurt you, you have that inkling, you just feel it. Suppose you could actually hear what they're thinking. Suppose you actually would know for sure what's in their heart. See, then you would know. You would know whether they're really your enemy or there's a misunderstanding. You would know. Well, the Most High is allowing us to know the inner workings of the mind of our enemy when he said, "Thou hast said in thy heart." Okay? And even now, I've heard people try to interpret this as not to mean Asatan. Because you see, because the enemy is desperate that you should not know this. And yet it's here, right here, for us to know. Okay? Verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. This is his motive. This is what he wants. And he wants it right here on the planet Earth. He wants it here. So everything that's being done, everything you see in operation against the Most High is for this purpose. It's for this purpose. Okay? It's for this purpose. Exactly. It's for this purpose. And how does he go about it? How does he go about convincing man without letting man know what's in his heart? How does he go about it? Well, first let's continue reading. Verse 15 is important too. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. What is that? See, in the Bible, hell and the pit is the grave. In other words, he's going to cease to exist. He's going to be put into the lake of fire, and he's going to cease to exist. Thou shalt be brought down to hell. Hell is Sheol. It's the grave. The pit also is the grave. The sides of the pit. You're going down, bro. Permanently. That's the end of that. Okay? And it's the end of all those that follow him. Now, he's a deceiver. The Messiah mentioned two character traits. John chapter 8. Gospel of John chapter 8. Gospel of John chapter 8. See, you have to have an understanding of who you're fighting against. Sometimes we're fighting people that are not our enemies. And sometimes we're befriending people who are our enemies. So we need an understanding of the game, of the war we're in. Okay? We need an understanding of the war we're in. And we're in a war. And unfortunately, the majority of the planet doesn't even realize it. Okay? Because it's a spiritual war. So we understand we're in a spiritual war, and we need to understand our enemy. What is he trying to do? What is his thoughts? What is his game plan? The Most High, our God, the only true God, Yah, the God of Israel, the father of the line of the tribe of Judah, knows. And he reveals his secrets to us. Gospel of John, chapter 8. Beginning at verse 42. Yahweh said unto them, if Yah were your father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from Yah. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do ye not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father, the devil. And the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Okay? He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. Brothers and sisters, part of the deception is to present error as if it's truth, and to present truth as if it's error. To present that which is righteous as if it's evil, and to present that which is evil as if it's righteous. That's the goal. Sounds confusing, doesn't it? It can be, unless you understand the foundation of truth. The foundation of truth is the covenant of Yah. He himself is truth. Messiah also said, he is the way, the truth, and the life. Why? Because he is the word made flesh. The covenant of Yah made flesh. The covenant is truth. And brothers and sisters, let me explain to you. You and I cannot even fully understand the covenant without the Father's Spirit. Without the Father's Spirit, we'll go around trying to keep the covenant and trying to force people to do what we do. You ever see people like that? Try to force you to do what they do at their pace and get upset if you're not doing it the way they want you to do it. That's not the Father's Spirit. That's man. That's Asatan. And he will use the Bible, as we know, to deceive people and to destroy people. He will do it. But when you understand, Father, your Father is perfect righteousness. Part of a teacher's job in the scriptures is to make the listeners understand, not just that their God loves them, Jesus loves you. That doesn't say anything, but he never makes a mistake. He is perfect in righteousness and wisdom. He is not your buddy. He's your God. He's the creator of all things. He is power. You understand? That's who your God is. Okay? It's like a parent. The worst parents in the world spoil their children. When a child is spoiled, it's almost impossible for that child to be saved. Because they all think, when they spoil, they think that everything is for them. When a child is spoiled, it's all about what's in it for them, what pleases them, and nobody else. You can't deal with such people. They can't even live with themselves. So the worst thing in the world, is bad to physically abuse a child, but it's worse to spoil a child. That's the worst thing in the world you could do. Okay? Because the child has to understand, while you want the child to come to you with all their issues, you're not their buddy. You're the parent. And they need to have respect for you as the parent. Okay? When the child disrespects the parent, that's dishonor. And the child's life could be shortened. The scriptures say, honor your parents, that your days may be long. Because the parent is supposed to give you wisdom. Now, in this perverted world, a lot of times parents are worse than children. We know that. And the Most High said, when my mother and father forsake me, then the Most High Yahweh will take me up. So sometimes you got to go to Yahweh as your parent, because your parents are bugged out or whatever. That does happen, obviously, in this perverted world. But in the situation that is designed to be, we're supposed to honor our parents. They're not our buddies. They're not somebody we're supposed to just be trying to kick it with, although that's cool, but they are parents. Our Father in heaven is not our buddy. He's our Father. He's not just a father. He's our creator. You understand? So yes, when the Bible says fear Yah and keep his commandments, this is a respect, a reverence for who he is. That's why when we pray, You could pray all day, and I do. I pray in the car. I pray when I'm walking. I pray, but when I'm really, I gotta get on my knees, because who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? The Creator. So I bow to Him. And Messiah also, as Joshua did when he saw him with the sword in his hand. Joshua bowed. And Messiah didn't say, get up, like Gabriel told John, don't do that. He didn't say that. What did he say? Take your shoes off. You're on holy ground. We have to understand who we're dealing with. And in understanding that, we know they are powerful. And we understand our enemy. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. A liar never comes out and tells you they're a liar. That would defeat the purpose. Because they want to control you by deception. So what does our enemy do? So he wants to be God. He wants this earth. He wants to rule it as the Most High. He said, I will be like the Most High. That means on this planet, he wants to be the Most High. How does he do it? Well, the first lie he told was to our parents, to Eve, right? What was the lie? Let's take a look. Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3. He starts off asking a question. That's still a method that people use today, lawyers especially. When they want to talk to you, when they want to control you. And I was learning this too. They start off asking a question. And their question is to see where your understanding is, so that they can manipulate it. Okay? It's no problem with them asking the question. You just need to know why they're asking. They're asking because they're trying to manipulate you, and they want to know what your understanding is. So he asked Eve a question. Yea, verse 1. Hath Yah said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? See, a lot of people get, because they're reading all these other books that are not the Bible, they start thinking that Eve had sex with this serpent. It's stupid. This is a mind game. The power of choice is what we're dealing with. It's a spiritual war. So he asked her a question. Yea, have Yah said ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Her understanding was clear. The woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. She had an understanding. What problem she had was even having a conversation with this being. How could a serpent talk? She should have known. She was warned. She was warned. Adam and Eve were warned. Don't eat of this tree. This tree is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Therefore, they're being told it's evil. Therefore, they're understanding there's an enemy. She wandered from her husband and she's having a conversation with the enemy. Problem number one, when a woman doesn't have a head, she's vulnerable. Her head was away from her, or she wandered from him. Somebody might ask, what about a single woman? Who's her head? You answer me. Who's the head of a single woman? Is it not Messiah himself? When my mother and father forsake me, will not Yahweh take me up? Doesn't that principle still apply for Messiah? A woman that's single needs to cling to Messiah and to the word. His righteousness alone will guide her through all things. And when she ever meets a man, if he introduces her to a man that's going to be her head, she will know it if she's clinging to Messiah. But this woman had a head. It was Adam. And she wandered from him to speak to the enemy on her own. Problem number one. Okay? So she had an understanding. Here's the first lie ever told on planet Earth. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. To this day, people believe that spirits that dead are in heaven They looking down on us, do they not? Do they not say that? I know my grandmother's with me. She died 10 years ago, but she's looking down upon me. Ye shall not surely die. Even to this day, there are people that believe that Asatan is going to live eternally in the hellfire. That he's just going to be there forever. Ye shall not surely die. First lie told that man is by nature immortal. First lie told that man is by nature immortal. That's a lie. Man, upon death, ceases to exist. He doesn't go anywhere but to the grave. Dust thou art, and to dust thou shalt return. Through the power of the eternal Spirit of the Father, there's a resurrection. And he ordained Messiah to be the resurrector. And Messiah, from the Father's gift given to him, can speak and cause life to be brought back into a soul that stopped existing. Because my Father can bring back into existence whatever he wants to. But if he chooses not to, a person ceases to exist. But look here, ye shall not surely die. That is pervading all through society, in every religion, in every place. People believe in this lie. The vast majority of the planet believe that. Man is by nature, they think, immortal. Lie number 2. For Yah doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as the Most High, knowing good and evil. Man can be God. So now, let's put it all together. Asatan wants to be the Most High of this earth. He wants to be above the clouds, above the stars. What does that mean? That's deep, because the stars are the chosen people of the Most High, and the angels, they represent stars. Okay? He said, I'm going to be above all heaven's angels, because I'm going to be God on this earth. Okay? And so in accomplishing this, he tells man, you're immortal. You're never going to die, no matter what you do. And he says, you can be a God. He says this in 1,000 different ways to thousands and millions of people, from business to politics to religion especially. He tells us in 1,000 different ways. That's how you end up with a Jim Jones. That's how you end up with all these false preachers, a Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes. That's how you end up with people like that, these principles. And those that are closest to him, he enriches because they know who they're worshiping, and he gives them money. See, he pawns off stuff that's worthless and makes people think it's worth something, and then they would go ahead and serve him for that. He turns it into fame sometimes, turns it into being famous. Some people want to be famous. There was a song, I Want to Live Forever, Fame. It was called Fame. I want people to see me and die is what the song said. You understand? That's all Asatan. And that's his order. That's the order of the world that he is creating. And so, because he wants worship, obviously he must also, not only does he tell man in every avenue of life that he can be a God, not only does he say you're immortal, but he must set up a temple for himself. That is the Vatican. That's the Vatican. And he must set up a man in that temple that is getting worshiped, that is under him. That is a pope. And in every area, like I said, you got politics, you got sports, you got entertainment and sports, you got religion. he sets up people to be gods in these areas. And all of the gods are the ones you see, the ones that are the famous ones, the ones that make the big money, the ones that appear to have the most talent. And he has people worshiping them. And then in turn, they give glory to him. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? This is the order in which under which we live. So the problem for him, of course, is that the Most High has a people that is not following or will not continue to follow. Let me correct myself, because the Bible says that the dragon deceiveth the whole world. That includes you and me. And when light is shined from the Most High upon us, it's our beginning steps away from darkness. It's our beginning steps into the light of truth, into righteousness, into a whole different thing than this world is about. And we understand truth. Man is not immortal. Yah is immortal, and he wants us to be a partaker of his divine nature, which is immortal. You understand? We partake in it as a gift from him after our surrender to him. See, and so in that regard, you can understand that whatever the Most High has, there's a counterfeit from the enemy. The enemy doesn't even have enough creativity to make his own stuff up. And if he does make it up, it's a bomb, it's a gun, it's pornography. But he counterfeits. The Most High has a temple. The Vatican has a temple. The Most High has a high priest, the highest. The Vatican has one. The Most High has a government with laws. So do they. You understand? And the counterfeit is being pawned off as the truth. The counterfeit is being pawned off as the truth. But the only way you're going to know the truth, and I'm going to know the truth, is by this Bible right here. That's the only way. By the Bible and prayer. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. That's the only way. Otherwise, the Messiah said, if he didn't cut it short, no flesh should be saved. That's our only protection. And that's why, of course, the Bible is being attacked. Add to it with the book of Jasher, the book of Enoch, the Apocrypha, the Septuagint. They're trying their best. Look at the NIV. Look at the New King James. Oh, we got this new Bible over here that's better than the King James. Look at this one. It's got the Most High's name in it. They're trying their best to get you off the one book you need. Off the only way that you're going to reveal and expose all deception. For the world order in which we're in which man is immortal and he can be a god. But we praise Yah because of the power of the truth, because of the power of eternal righteousness of the Spirit of our Father, because he has set up as his high priest and the soon coming King, Mashiach Yahushua. Because now he is awakening us, and the awakening is the death knell of this order. The death knell of the world order in which we're in is the awakening. Why is that? How does that express in the word? I love how Deuteronomy says it. Deuteronomy chapter 30, it says it. And then, of course, you know, there's other places, many other places. But Deuteronomy chapter 30, I love the way it expresses it. verse 1 of Deuteronomy 30. And it shall come to pass. That means something's going to happen in the future. Moses is talking to our fathers in the nation of Israel, and he's telling them something's going to happen in the future. When? When all these things are come upon thee. What things? The blessing and the curse which I have set before thee. Deuteronomy 28 outlines very clearly the blessing and the curse. Outlines very clearly. And it even outlines why the blessing is turned into a curse. Because why? They worship other gods. They leave his commandments. And then the curses come. And one of the curses that we will be placed in chains. We'll be put into slavery. We'll be a byword. We'll be the tail of all people and not the head. We'll get into slavery and be taken into bondage by ship. Outlines it. He said, when these things come upon thee, the blessing and the curse. So now we've already seen the curse. That's the last part. You've seen it, right? When all these things come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, wait, and thou shalt call them to mind. Prior to this recent order of history right here, for centuries, we didn't know who we were. There's still millions of people that don't know who they are. To everybody else on the planet, the ADOS is the only group of people that have no history. They don't give up. We have no history to them. To them, we were savages in a jungle that were taken from West Africa. They don't know nothing about us aside from that. Nothing. And they don't want us to know. That in itself, when you think about it, the miracle of this is any people that don't know who they are, how could that people even exist? How can they survive? You don't even know who you are, where you come from, what your history is, what language did you speak. You don't know nothing. You don't even know your real name. They gave you a name. They called you Toby. They give you Smith and Jones and Jefferson and Washington. That's the only names we know. But we don't know what our real names was. Therefore, we can be led about by anybody. When you don't know who you are or where you come from, you could be led about by anybody. Because really, you're like an orphaned child with no parents. And you just want anybody to take you up. And anybody that has a hint of doing it, you'll run to them and conform to them. Because you don't know who you really are. Or where you come from. And why you ended up where you ended up. And for centuries, that's us. But now, it shall come to pass, and when all these things come, and thou shalt call them to mind. That's an awakening. That's an awakening. Okay, so we had the blessing, we had the curse, and now we're calling to mind the blessing and the curse. Very easily. Matter of fact, the awakening that's now taking place is taking place because we understood we were under a curse. We just didn't understand why. Even the Caucasian sons of Yafet were telling us we're under a curse, but they kept telling us it's the curse of Ham. That's what they kept saying. You're cursed. You're black because you're cursed. It's the curse of Ham. That's what they were telling us. See how Asatan tries to use the Bible to deceive us? But the true curse is in Deuteronomy 28. Having an understanding now that curse is us, we have an understanding of who we are. Because that curse was only the one people. It ain't them Ashkenazis from Yafet that's playing the Edomite role in the so-called Middle East. It ain't them. Them curses only fit one group of persons. And understanding that made us understand, wait a minute. These curses is us. So Deuteronomy is a conversation from the Most High to Israel. Therefore, we're Israel. Awakening. That's truly being woke. That's the true woke. That ain't political woke. Caucasians in the street with Black Lives Matter talking about woke. No. This is the woke right here. And thou shalt call them to mind. Wait. Thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations with Yahweh thy most high have driven thee. In other words, while we're scattered, we're remembering. That's the awakening. Can't be better illustrated. It's illustrated in a lot of places now. Ezekiel, Isaiah talk about it. Okay, prophets talk about it. Okay, but I love how, because now it's telling you this is the beginning, an awakening, right? And now we're awakening, we're understanding what our history is. We're understanding the language we used to speak was the true ancient Hebrew. That's our language. Our names were names like Yeshaya, right? Yakanan, Yasha'al. Huh? That was our names. These are the names we call Dawid. These are the names. These were our original names. And now we're even understanding the names of the Europeans. They copy from us. They copy from us. Wait a minute. Verse 2. And thou shalt return unto Yahweh thy most high and shalt obey his voice. So when we get awakened, when we understand the curses that came upon us and why, when we understand why we're in all the nations scattered, when we understand that who we really are and what we used to be, now he's looking for us to do what? Return to him. Because the whole reason all these things came upon us is because we left our Creator to worship other gods. So now he's saying, now when you see all these things and it comes to your mind, the awakening happens, now you return to me. According to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart, with all thy soul. What happens after that? That then Yahweh thy most high will turn thy captivity. He will turn our captivity. See, our captivity, our freedom is not based on marches in the street. It's not based on begging governments to change laws or enforce laws that are already existing. It's not based on forming groups like even the Black Panthers or the Nation of Islam. It's not based on man-made places like Black Lives Matter. No. Our captivity is turned strictly by the Most High. Our freedom is based in the power of his hand. And he's telling us how we're going to get it. We turn back to him. We realize the blessing and the curse. We turn back to him. We obey his commandments. He said, I'm going to turn your captivity. You see, brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't matter what the heathen want to do. It doesn't matter what their plans are. It doesn't matter what their thoughts are. When we turn back to the Most High, it's over. Game over. That's why I'm saying to you, once we understand the righteousness of the Father, the eternal righteousness of the true gospel, and we turn to that righteousness by faith and not try to create our own righteousness, game over. Game over. And you know the enemy knows this. Okay? Now he has a series of things that he promises. And one of the things that come down, you come down to verse 7. And verse 7, it says, and Yahweh thy most high will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So all the nations that we're in, that made us the lowest rung on the totem pole, that took away any right as human beings that we have, forget rights as citizens, not even as human beings, they treated us. Okay? They don't even treat us as human beings. Treat us like animals and promote us as if we're animals and try to cause us to become animals. It's going to come back on there. They ain't escaping. They're not going to escape. See? They're not. And it's got nothing to do with anything but what the Most High has already set in motion in his word. He set in motion the awakening. He set it in motion before the foundation of the earth. These words were printed up, were written by Moses 4,000 years ago. And so he gave us this word for us to understand now what's happening and why and what's next and what's coming. And what's coming is this awakening. See, this awakening is the death knell of the current order of the world. Because the awakening causes Yah to move. Then Yahweh thy Most High will turn thy captivity. See, so us awakening, us bringing to mind everything, us understanding who we are, us coming back to the Most High to obey his commandments, the only true God. That causes Yah in heaven to say, time is up. See? And so what we're experiencing right now is the beginning of the end of this world order and the beginning of what's going to come, which is now what we're talking about in Isaiah 60, the establishment of the world order of Messiah. The establishment of the world order of Messiah. A world order in which there's no more death, no more crime, no more suffering, no more stealing, no more killing. A world where there's love, balance, harmony. A love where only there is perfect righteousness. A love where animals don't kill each other to eat, and we don't need to kill them to eat. A world where everything we do eat is perfection of nutrients, perfection of power. As a matter of fact, some of the things we eat extend eternal existence. The tree of life. Okay? That's the world order of the Messiah. And he gives us the nuances of it in many places. In Isaiah chapter 60 is one of those places. Let's take a look. Isaiah chapter 60. Let's start again at the beginning. We read some of the beginning last night, but let's start at the beginning. Isaiah chapter 60, beginning at verse 1 and go down to verse 5. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thy eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together. They come and see. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Thou shalt see and flow together. Thy heart shall fear and be enlarged, because of the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. Remember, sea represents peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Revelation 17:15. So now he say the abundance of the sea, talking about the nations, the Gentiles, people that don't know the Most High. See, this is Isaiah, an Israelite prophet. He's talking to the Israelite people. He's talking to the true Israelite people, the bloodline of Abraham, and he's telling them what the future holds. Okay, and the sons and daughters that come from afar, that's us. That's us. We're in the four corners of the earth. One of the signs, again, that we alluded to a few minutes ago, one of the signs that we are who we are is that we are scattered. The slave trade has brought us into the four corners of the earth. And not just the slave trade, not just that. You see, it amazes me how the sons of Yafet go into lands that they weren't from, kill, rape, and steal the land, and then tell people from other lands, you can't come here. While at the same time going into those people's lands, rape, steal, and killing, causing them to flee their own land to a safer place and telling them, you can't come here. They stole gold. They steal silver, but not just that. They go into Central America. They go into South America, and they take millions of acres of land. They, meaning the sons of Yafet, in the form of corporations. Corporations is how the devil uses to take over. The Catholic Church itself is a corporation. The United States of America is a corporation. And he uses corporations to take over, to create laws that say they can take over, his own laws. So they go into South America, Central America, and they take the corporations millions of acres. Some of them they might have for bananas. You wonder where your bananas come from? Look at it. It's come from Costa Rica. And they got farmers down there they treat like crap. And they steal their land and they take from their land so that we can eat bananas here. That's just one thing. Thousands of things. Okay? Thousands of things. The stuff you're getting from China, a lot of them people are in jail. In a Chinese jail, making your shirts and your pants and your sneakers for nothing or very little by corporations. Our jails are corporations. Corporations don't have a feeling about you or me. They have no feeling at all. Corporations exist to cause those that control the corporation to make profit. That's the reason, to make profit. And the 501c3 corporation also makes profit, but they hide it because the technical reason for their existence is because they're supposed to be helping. They're supposed to be a non-profit, but people form it to get paid. It's all corrupt, brothers and sisters. All corrupt. And so the Bible says that the abundance of the peoples that come from these places will be converted. Abundance of people. Now, it's not the majority, as we know. It's a remnant. But he's talking about the sea. He's talking about the peoples, nations, and tongues of all the places where we have been scattered. They're going to be converted. And we're the sons and daughters that they're going to be bringing forth back to the land. Praise the Most High. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense. They shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. Imagine a world where everybody's giving. Imagine that. Everybody is giving. People from these lands that are named have things in their land that everybody's land has something they're known for, right? Colombia is known for their coffee, right? I just mentioned Costa Rica and the bananas, right? Then like rice grows everywhere, but most of the people that we understand rice is in Asia. So in the kingdom, people are going to have things that come. In the Bible, it talks about wood coming from Lebanon. Everybody's going to have something that's special about their land, and they'll bring that thing and share it. Share it. Praise the Most High. You understand? They'll share. We'll be sharing everything. I'll share what I got with you. You share what you got with me. Nobody will be lacking anything. Nobody will ever be sick. Everything will taste good. Everything will be beautiful, man. This is the world order of Messiah. This is the world order of Messiah. This is a world of righteousness. It's not a world where dog eats dog. It's not a world where only the strong survive. That's the world we live in now. That's Asatan's order. The one that wants to be the most high on this planet, that lies to us. No, this is a kingdom of truth and righteousness. Verse 7. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Naboth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on my altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Who are these that fly as a cloud, as the doves to their windows? Apparently, we'll have a gift of being able to levitate. Who are these that fly as a cloud? Apparently, we have that gift. Well, we know that the angels have that gift. Remember Daniel chapter 9. Notice this, Daniel chapter 9. Daniel, I praise the Most High for his word because it tells us everything. Okay. Daniel chapter 9 from verse 20 and verse 21. Watch what it says. And whilst I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin, Daniel says, and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before Yahweh, my Most High, for the mountain of my Most High. Yea, whilst I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, or Gabar, that means Gabar, means warrior. Gabar means warrior of the Most High. Even Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, that's chapter 8's vision, being caused to do what? To fly swiftly. Touched me about the time of the evening oblation. So Gabriel was caused to do what? Fly swiftly. And we're going to be like who? Messiah said, as the angels. And here in Isaiah 60 said, who are these that fly? As a cloud, as doves to their windows. Can you imagine? We will have windows, right, in our houses, but we won't need glass to block out elements. We probably will fly into the house like a bird flies to a house. A bird flies to a nest, fly into a window, fly where we need to go. We could run, walk, fly. Imagine that. Imagine that. Notice again, Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9 and 10. Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh, thy Most High, to the Holy One of Yasha'al, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Talking about Israel. So he says here, the sons of strangers are going to build our walls. They're going to build stuff for us. They're going to build houses for us like we built for them. Their kings are going to minister to us. They're going to be our servants. See, like I said, there's going to be Gentiles, there's going to be kings of lands. Not all Gentiles are going to be lost. Not all of them are going to be slaves, but all of them are going to serve us. It says, kings shall minister unto. They're going to be kings and they'll minister to us. How does that work? If you see, let's see, is it 1 Samuel? No, 2 Samuel. I think it's 2 Samuel. All right, yeah, 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel. Let's see. When David's kingdom was in charge here. Yeah, in 2 Samuel chapter, I'm trying to find it because there's so much here. I'm in the neighborhood, but I'm trying to find the right spot. All right, let's go with chapter 7. There's a lot here, but it'll give you an idea of what the future kingdom is going to be like, because David's kingdom is an example of the future kingdom. David's kingdom, Shabbat Shalom to all. David's kingdom is an example of the future kingdom. Okay, so notice I'm going to read 2 Samuel chapter 7. I'm going to read from verse 1. I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 16. And it came to pass when the king sat in his house, and Yahweh had given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said unto Nathan the prophet, see now, I dwell in an house of cedar, but the ark of Yahweh dwelleth within curtains. And Nathan said unto the king, go, do all that is in thy heart, for Yahweh is with thee. And it came to pass that night that the word of Yahweh came unto Nathan, saying, go and tell my servant David, thus saith Yahweh, thou shalt build me a house for me to dwell. Shalt thou build me a house for me to dwell in? Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day. But I walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. And in all the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with them, any of the tribes of Israel, whom I command to feed my people, saying, why build ye not me a house of cedar? Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be a ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest. And I have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name unto all the name of the great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more, as beforetime. And since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, I have caused thee to rest from thine enemies. Also Yahweh telleth thee that he will make thee an house. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thy house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee, and thy throne shall be established forever. This is the kingdom we're getting ready to come into. This is it. And all the kings of the other nations are going to bring gifts to our kingdom. And that's how they're going to serve us. The kings of the other nations will come and they're going to bring gifts, like they did with David. They brought gifts to David. Everything he did, the kings, the people brought gifts from other nations. The Philistines brought gifts. The Ammonites brought gifts. All the people brought gifts to David. And David was established as the king, the greatest king in the then known world. Okay. He was established like that. So that's the kingdom we get ready to say. That's when kings are going to serve us from other nations. All the kingdoms of the earth will serve Yahweh. All will keep his covenant. All will be called by his name. But the bloodline, remember, look what he said, that which cometh out of thine own bowels. Well, Messiah, that's what Messiah say. He's the root and the offspring of David. He is the Messiah of the children of Judah and of the southern kingdom and of all the children of Israel. Therefore, the children of Israel are going to be blessed above all people. Not that all people aren't going to be blessed, but the children of Israel shall be blessed above all people because of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Okay? Because of Yah's promise to these brothers. And no other people on the planet is like that. Okay? And that's why he said to Abraham, I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. That promise is not just to Abraham, but to his seed. To his seed. That is why when Gentiles are grafted in, yes, and people get caught up on this verse. Again, the Christians focus on one book, one verse, one statement, and make all kind of assumptions about it. But when he said, if you are Messiahs in Galatians, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. What does that mean? That means that the promised seed will bless you as you bless them. That the promised seed is Messiah and his people. And if you love Messiah, you will be loving his people. And you'll get entrance into his kingdom through his people. They'll teach you. They'll teach you his word. That's why it says in Jeremiah, if you know the ways of my people, as you taught my people to worship Baal, then you'll be blessed. That's what it says there in Isaiah. Jeremiah chapter 12. Jeremiah chapter 12. Jeremiah chapter 12 talking about the converted Gentiles and the Gentiles in general. From verse 14 down to verse 17. This is what he's talking about. This is the, see, we have to put it all together. All of these things come together. You don't just read one scripture and think you got everything. That's what Christians do. They look at the New Testament. That's why they have no religion. I mean, they have a religion, but nothing that Most High recognizes, because it's half truth. And you know what half truth is? If I say a half truth, what is that? Is it not a lie? So if you only have the New Testament, you only have half truth, because you don't know the whole thing. Therefore, what you have? A lie. And that's what he says about the Gentiles. They'll recognize, is there not a lie in my right hand? That's what it says. Here, Jeremiah chapter 12, beginning at verse 14. Thus saith Yahweh against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land, and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. And it shall come to pass that after I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them, and will bring them again, every man to his heritage, and every man to his land. And it shall come to pass, if they, that is the Gentiles, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people. That's how you grafted in. That's how Messiah receives you. If you will diligently learn the ways of his people, to swear by my name, Yahweh, that's his name. Learn that. Yahweh. Yahweh. Yah exists. Awa means to exist. It's off the same order of Ahaya. Haya. Ahaya. I exist. Yahweh. Hawa means to exist. Yah exists. Yahweh. I believe Hawa is 1920 in the concordance. It might be 1933. Check it, because there's two words. There's Haya, which is exist, and Hawa, which is also exist. Ahaya is what he told Moses, I exist. Yahweh is what he told Moses later. That's my name, he said. That your fathers didn't know me by that name. They knew El Shaddai, but they didn't know Yahweh. Yah exists. And his son, Yahweh, Yah exists to save. Yahweh Shai. Shai means to save. Like Yashaya. Yah is salvation. Yashaya. Yahweh Shai. Yah exists to save. Yahweh. Yah exists to learn to swear by my name. Yahweh liveth. As they taught my people to swear by Baal. If they do that, that means you come to the Israelite people, you're not joining a church, you're connecting with a nation. You're not joining a church, you're connecting with a nation. You're not joining a church, you're connecting with a nation. The true nation of Israel. As they taught my people to swear by Baal. That's your white Jesus. That's your Sunday keeping. That's your Christianity. Then they shall be built in the midst of my people. See, that's when you call grafted in. That's when you become an heir according to the promise. You understand? That's what the apostle was talking about. You become an heir. You said you're built in the midst of my people. But if you will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation. There you go. There you go. Okay, so the sons of the strangers, the kings are going to come and bless us with gifts. These are people that did what? They learned the ways of Yahweh's people, Yahweh Shah's people, to swear by his name. As they taught us Baal, they learned from us. That's why Shaul was sent to the Gentiles, so they can learn from him. That's why Cornelius was told by the angel, go get Kaffa. He'll teach you. There you go. We're going to stop here and have a pause, a break in the action, if you will. It's 12:11. I'm going to stop here and take a break and come back at 12:35 for part 2 of this, which is the world order of Messiah. This is part 1. We're going to be doing part 2 in about 30 minutes. Let's call it, 30 minutes from now, which is 12:40. Let's go 12:40, okay? I'm going to stop right here. We will return by the grace of the Most High.